everybody, this is Arsenal. Today I would like to introduce you the acrylic paint. Alright, so this is the first wet medium we're introducing, and you can see you have a lot to prepare, and you're not all actually. So let's begin with the paint itself. So there are you can see many different brands of paint, but to be honest, either is it's okay as long as you got a heavy body, just don't use it. Don't be too cheap on this, because the quality of the paint will determine how long it will last and what kind of texture it gives you, and even the purity of the color, because you can see we're trying to use the less pigment as possible, because the more pigment you have in your tube, it will become desaturated away from the original pigment. And if you mix it with other colors, it will become a muddy color, so you'll try to avoid that. Personally, I would prefer Liquitex, the heavy body ones, because I think they're the price is reasonable and the quality is pretty good so far, and it can last pretty long. Okay, and by the way, the acrylic means the binder of it, because the pigment are the small color particles that live in the nature, and we use the acrylic as a binder to combine the pigment to the paper surface. So and there's also different kinds of, they're called the extensor or medium. You can see this is the mass medium or glass medium. What this means is it will give you a matte looking. So if it's glass, it will give you a glassy, more clear, and the matte will be less penetratable. Alright. And after this, we use the paint on our palette. You can use the large palette that and you can clean up after that, because acrylic paint, one advantage of it, you can just use water and thin it down and clean it. So it's a relatively easy way. But if you try to you are trying to save those problems, you may like to have a paper palette, which means you can toss it away after you use it, or you can save it. Just if you have a pile of unused paint and you're trying to save some money, because those are money, and one way you can do is find a small container like this, or even the individual ones like this. Just make sure it's relatively airtight, even though this is not, you can see it's dried out already, and it's almost impossible for you to clean them up. I tried it, it takes a lot of time. It's probably not worth it, because the smaller one probably costs about $1 or so. Yeah. Or you can use, you can just chop the whole. If you have a palette full of different colors, you want to save those, you can just find the airtight container. This is, it's probably not that tight, but I use it for temporary use. Just probably I'll work in the I know I will work in the next day and using the same palette, so I'll probably just keep those paper palette into the container. So it will just be called the wet palette. So it can save you just a tiny little bit. And when we apply the color, the acrylic paint onto the palette, we use the palette knife like this. But personally, I like it to be a little bit thinner, because it won't grab too much paint on the palette knife. Otherwise, it will be pretty. I have like a larger one like that, but I found it like kind of bothering because when I try to blend it or like mixing color, I found out there's lots of paint staying on top of my palette knife, and I cannot like easily get them off. So personally, I would like prefer a thinner. I know there's like a even thinner one, like just a straight line, but I think this one works pretty well for me. Just pick your own like preference. Right. The next thing is brush. Well, the brush is pretty important. I have like different kinds of brushes, and you can find like a pack in Michaels or somewhere, Hobby, and they probably cost $10 or $20, and you got a full set of those. But personally, I think it's good for practice, but because they wear out pretty fast, they don't have a strong hold like these ones, you know, like the better ones. Personally, I use the Winsor Newton. I think this is relatively reasonable. I don't say it's cheap because obviously it's not. It costs about like $2 to $3 per brush, but they can use like a pretty long time because I use it like for many years already, and they're still like yeah, it's still in good shapes, you know. And the red one are the synthetic brushes, which means not it's artificial. So it's like give you a softer brush. And this one, the a green will be the hog. So it'll be animal hair, and you stiffer and give you like more brush stroke if you apply to the surface. And this one is it's another one. It's usually used for like a wash, so it's good for both acrylic paint and the probably watercolor. Yeah, it gives you a pretty nice even surface all by itself. And it's probably synthetic brush as well because it's relatively soft, you can see. So those are pretty good for watercolor too. But it can be used on like acrylic paint. Another thing is you would like to probably like to prepare different size of the brush because some details, and you have to go in with this brush is giving yourself a hard time. I don't say it's not impossible, but believe me, I tried, but I still have to buy those like thinner, smaller brushes. And another thing is you don't have to wash your brush so often. Every time you change the color, just keep one brush, one color, and just take another brush for another color. You know, use your left hand, hold the brush, and use your right hand to the painting, or if you are left hand, vice versa. You know. And the next thing will be the water, and you can use water. Also, always prepare like a water bucket right here, and dip your brush before you use it and after. And every time, it's not when you're not painting, you know, just keep it wet because once the acrylic paint is dries out, it's very hard for you to get out, especially from the brushes. So you just want to, since you spend so much money on those things, you might keep them in good shapes, you know. And I'll probably prepare a water container, like just can like give you like a pretty good control how many drops you get, because you don't want to like over thin the paint or like add too little. And this one is just a regular sprayer. You can get from anywhere else too, and this just want to keep the surface wet sometimes, because depends on the weather. The acrylic paint can dry out pretty fast, so you might be aware of that. And this one can let it like dry a little bit slower, but still one characteristic of acrylic paint is like it dries. Sometimes it just dries super fast. And the final step will be I would highly recommend you wear an apron because this will get messy and you never know the paint will go over your like very expensive clothing or so. Just in case, always bring wear an apron to the workshop and paper, newspaper or whatever scrap paper you have. Just put it down probably under the palette and water buckets, so you won't make a huge mess, and it will be much easier for you to clean out. Just toss the paper away. Another thing will be a rag. You see, there's already beaten out, but still using those because, you can clean your brush, clean your table, clean your hands, whatever. It's pretty useful, trust me. Right? And okay, and you see, right now, I got the as we mentioned in the paper section, this is the canvas paper. You can also buy the canvas too if you like it, but personally I just use the canvas paper, and today I'm just going to demonstrate one color to color the surface. Well, some people also prefer like adding like matte medium at this stage, but I myself just found out the medium will give it a little bit like texture like, and I'm not too sure I want it that thick. So I will just probably just go straight on with this yellowish color, and this is much thinner than when we usually paint, but because since this is the first layer, I'm just laying in. See, it doesn't have to be too opaque, so just give you the first layer, and just like toning the paper. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. Just toning the paper, but this is probably will be the highlight color using the warm light source. Whatever. I always remember to clean out your brush after you use it. And another way using the small water container is like you don't want to use those water for when you clean it up because they will be even though it's pretty thin, but there's still color in it. So if you use those color like mixing with trying to make a red, but it probably will become a little bit red orange, because the yellow color in it. Right, that's all for today's video, and we'll probably do some more acrylic paint. I'm sure I will do more acrylic paint when we go to like color sections, but this will be just introduce you all the tool you probably need, and this is just the basic ones. Right, if you enjoyed this, please drop a like, leave a comment, and I'll see you all in the next video. Thank you.